Hey there, welcome to another brand new episode of Talking WWE, and this time I'm going to be talking about the most recent pay-per-view, last night's inaugural edition of Fastlane. So, it's about to go down. Ooh, yeah! Anyway, Fastlane is the new pay-per-view from WWE that's replacing the Elimination Chamber, which I'm not necessarily that fond of because Elimination Chamber I thought was really fun and really cool and really inventive and really unique, and they replaced it with a generic pay-per-view. Yay, thank you. Yeah, replace the unique pay-per-view that has the Elimination Chamber, which is entertaining and unique and kind of has elements of the Royal Rumble, and also a steel cage. But let's get rid of that for Fastlane. Well, I understand why they're calling it Fastlane because, the inside track to WrestleMania, but when you share the same name as a generic TV show that nobody remembers from Fox years ago, that's not a good thing, really. It really isn't. When you type in Fastlane, the first thing that pops up is that generic TV show, and then, of course, the WWE pay-per-view, but, I mean, you get rid of the Elimination Chamber for this, it's just, I don't know, it's a little bit bittersweet, to be honest. But I have to be, at the end of the day, I thought this pay-per-view was better than the Royal Rumble, but it still wasn't great. It had a great main event between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. Really fantastic match that I really enjoyed. And it had some other matches I didn't mind, like Cesaro and Tyson Kidd versus the Usos. Um, the match between Dean Ambrose and Bad News Barrett until Bad News Barrett started running away like a bitch. Then I kind of had a problem with it. Uh, there was the Sting challenging Triple H face to face. Loved that. That was a highlight of the pay per view. Definitely a highlight of the pay per view. Uh, Seth Rollins, Big Show, and Kane versus Dolph Ziggler, Ryback, and Eric Rowan. The most memorable thing about that was Randy Orton returning. So anyway, I'm gonna get straight into it. Get right into it, and give my thoughts on Fastlane. Give my thoughts on what matches I liked, which matches I didn't like, and overall, give my final opinion on the entire pay-per-view. Now, it opened up on Fastlane kickoff. Paul Heyman showed up on Miz TV and said that no matter who wins, they're gonna lose to Brock Lesnar. Believe that, of course. And then the first match was between Seth Rollins, Big Show, and Kane versus Dolph Ziggler, Ryback, and Eric Rowan. Now, this is a match where it was set up really half-assedly, I thought, because it was literally set up on SmackDown last Thursday. They have the main event was Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins. J&J Security are banned from ringside. And then because they've been banned from ringside, the Authority decides to have Big Show and Kane show up on ringside and give Seth Rollins another way for him to cheat his way into victory and do this and so forth and do that. And Seth Rollins is a good heel, but I'm really starting to get tired of him because of the fact that he can't seem to win without cheating. Good heels can win without cheating. And they don't cheat all the time. And Seth Rollins seems to be cheating all the time, and it's really getting annoying. And it's not necessarily a good heel anymore. It's getting predictable, and it's just getting stale, and it's getting annoying. And I'm like, I understand it's not even a guy I hate anymore. It's almost like I feel sorry for him because it feels like WWE feels that they need to have all these different storylines and all these different people around him in order for him to make it. Because other than that, he keeps saying I'm the best ever, but he always has J&J Security at ringside or fucking Big Show or Kane, and he always runs away like a bitch. That's his character. Run away like a bitch when a fight comes, and that doesn't really make you look very good. Even as a heel, that makes you look bad. So I really think that WWE just needs to start letting Seth Rollins win his matches by himself without J&J Security getting involved. fight his own battles, because if they don't do that, this character is going to really start to get on people's nerves, and they will not want to see him anymore. Bray Wyatt's a great heel because he can beat people without cheating. Sometimes he interferes, but there are other times where he actually beats somebody in the ring without anybody else outside. It started out like that with the Wyatts, with Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, okay. But once they were disbanded, Bray Wyatt went on his own. He'd interfere every now and then in other matches when the lights would go out. But other times, the lights would never go out. It'd just go out during his entrance. He'd kick somebody's ass, and that's it. And that's really what Seth Rollins needs to start doing in order for him to survive, in my opinion. Because if he just continues being this guy who's basically being propped up by the Authority, he'll never have enough to stand up on his own. And he's talented. He's definitely got talent. He showed that in the best match of Royal Rumble, again, as a triple threat match. But man, he really needs to get out from underneath the Authority, or out from J&J Security, or out for something, because it's otherwise, I don't fucking care. So that's really how I am about this. And the Authority, I thought were a good heel, but now they're starting to become stale. Now they're starting to become boring because they always cheat. Good, like I said, good heels. What would happen if Jake the Snake Roberts, he let his snake Damien bite everybody? Then the one moment when the snake actually bit Macho Man Randy Savage, it wouldn't be that memorable, now would it? You wouldn't remember that. See, that's the problem. You do it too much, you cheat too much, you don't have enough moments where you win on your own without cheating. Then any moment when you cheat, or you pull the rug out from underneath somebody, or when you try to bend the rules, it's boring, it's stale, and it's predictable. And the last thing you want a heel to be is predictable. And that is what the Authority is becoming. Predictable. That is what Seth Rollins is becoming. Predictable. So, is what it is. But this match opened up, and there was some decent back and forth at first. I mean, the Authority looks like they're gonna get the upper hand, but then Team Ryback and Rowan and Ziggler get involved, and it was entertaining. For until the ending, we had to end it with another fucking instance. A Big Show knocking out Dolph Ziggler with a punch, and then Dolph Ziggler gets a choke slam and gets pinned by Kane, and then Team Authority wins, and then they can't just win. They have to punish people afterwards. So they need to put an exclamation point on how shitty they are, which is like, I understand that, but once again, it's predictable because it just did that on SmackDown. I felt like I was watching a rerun of the SmackDown match, except the only difference between the brawl with SmackDown on Thursday night, last Thursday, and the match at Fastlane was that this is actually a real match. That was between Dolph Ziggler, Eric Rowan, and Ryback versus Kane, Big Show, and Seth Rollins, and J&J Security out on the ringside. It was like, I understand why they set it up, but either A, the fucking Authority should have won without cheating, without Big Show walking out on the ring's post and punching Dolph Ziggler in the face illegally, or the other team should have won and stuck at the Authority. What happened was a fucking rerun of what I saw on SmackDown, and that's not what I wanted to see. So the only thing that was at all made that make me feel a little bit better about that, the way that they botched that first match, the triple tag team match, was Randy Orton coming out and RKO, excuse me if I fucking can't say the word RKO. Randy Orton coming out and RKOing people out of nowhere. And I've never been so happy to see Randy Orton's face in my entire life. And I'm not a big fan of Randy Orton, but I think I'm starting to warm up to him a bit. I was starting to warm up to him anyway when he was doing his face turn earlier. Then Seth Rollins comes in, tries to end his career. Now he's back, and I can't wait. I can't wait till Randy Orton gets his hands on Seth Rollins and delivers an RKO. delivers an RKO on his lever biker bar, gay bar ass, and then hits him so hard with the RKO that it knocks the blonde hair dye out of his hair. I can't wait to see that because that should be the moment where Randy Orton should get his revenge. If it's going to happen at WrestleMania, awesome. I can't wait to see Randy Orton beat the shit out of Seth Rollins. And so, yeah, that I like that. I like that. Randy Orton coming in and doing RKO's out of nowhere. Um, I've warmed up to him anyway because he's not the best mic guy. He's not the best personality, but he's a great athlete, and his RKO is a good finisher. And when I hated him back in the day, it's because he was a good heel. He was doing a great job of what he was supposed to do as a heel. So I would say now, if I made a list of favorite wrestlers, Randy Orton would be somewhere on there because he was a good heel. I was supposed to hate him, and I look back at him and Edge a little bit more fondly than I did when I was growing up. But anyway, other than Randy Orton coming in, that was disappointing. So then we had Goldust and Stardust matchup. They built it up well with this good drama and the family drama, and okay, Stardust is dealing with a mental breakdown. He doesn't want to be called Cody. He causes the team to lose a bunch of matches. Dusty Rhodes comes in and tries to settle things, and well, Stardust isn't having any of that. And it looks like he's gonna embrace his brother Goldust, but then he gives him the crossroads, and then he tells his father backstage, "You're not my father. Your father is dead, or whatever. Stop calling me Cody. There's only Stardust." and then and then you have the matchup, which I was actually looking forward to. But the match fucking sucked. It was a shitty fucking match. It wasn't worth the build-up. It wasn't worth the hype. And I remember now why. It's like WWE brainwashing me into believing that this would be a good match because of the drama they built up. But they made me forget the fact that Goldust is way past his prime. They made me forget that Cody Rhodes is at best a mediocre wrestler. And so when those two collided, it was shit. It was nothing but shit. It was a boring ass match. And even people in the crowd were saying, "Boring! This is boring!" And it's true. It was boring. And just it was a really dull match. And it didn't help the Goldust didn't want to hurt his brother. So then it was just lame and tame. Just a shit ton of there was a shit ton of things to blame about this fucking match. And then you had a Goldust wins by doing a quick roll up on Stardust and think that might knock some sense into Stardust. But no, it doesn't. Of course not. Goes backstage and kicks the shit out of Cody. Not really kick the shit out of Cody Rhodes because he doesn't kick the shit out of himself. What are you doing in there? I'm kicking my ass. I'm kicking my ass. Do you mind? No, that's not what happened. But anyway, he's kicking Goldust's ass, and then he tells his father that you killed Cody Rhodes, and then that's it. Then we're gonna probably have another match between these two, and I really don't want to see it. I was interested in it at first because WWE brainwashed my ass with a good storyline, but then they deliver a really shitty match, and I don't believe that they could. I don't think it could get any better because I realized that Goldust is way past his prime. He's too old. He's definitely hanging on his last thread, and then Cody Rhodes is just as mediocre as he ever was. He's just wearing space paint, and throwing glitter and hissing like a goddamn cat. So that's that it's not really much of a surprise really to me anymore. I mean, it was disappointing because I was brainwashed and believing it was going to be a good match, but then after the match was over, then I realized that, man, yeah, I should have known better. Should have known better to let them pull the wool over my eyes with this match. So you have that match. Then you had a tag team match that I didn't mind with Cesaro and Tyson Kidd versus the Usos. And It was entertaining for the most part, and I would say I liked it because the Usos lost. Nothing against the Usos. I like the Usos, but they've been on top of the mountain for long enough. Need a fresh face. Need somebody new. And I thought the team of Tyson, Kidd, and Cesaro, I thought were doing really well leading up to this. And I'm really glad they won. Because, yeah, they're technically heels, but I was actually rooting for them because I like Cesaro. And I think Tyson Kidd is getting up there. He's talented. And I'm curious to see how long they hold this title. I'm curious to see how long their title reign is. I hope it's not really short. I really don't. I hope those Usos don't just beat them in WrestleMania and that's it. And then they get buried and then the Ascension comes in and then they win. And then I gotta deal with the Ascension and their shitty ass acting. Acting like they're Road Warriors. They're not Skull and you're not Skull and Hawk, you're not Hawk and Animal. What is it, Skull and another guy? Skull Bash and Skull and Axe or something? You're not any of those guys, okay? You're the Ascension. And I'm sick and tired of your shitty acting. Your mic skills suck. You sound like a fucking shitty reject from the Mad Max films. Go back to the fucking Australian outback in the future where there is no gas and there are assless chaps and you'll fit right in and stay there and get the fuck out of the WWE. Unless you want to get a better gimmick. Because all you're doing is ripping off older gimmicks and acting like you're better and you're the best. In reality, your gimmick is just a ripoff. You can't even be your own fucking team. You can't even be unique, Ascension. So, descend into the fucking toilet bowl and get the fuck out of my face. How about that? How's that for a promo? Anyway, so I didn't mind Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. I hope they face off with the Ascension and kick their ass. I really do. So I didn't mind them winning, and it was an entertaining match, so I was alright with that. Face to face with Sting and Triple H. Triple H comes out, Sting comes out, it's epic. You just feel the electricity, you feel the energy in the air. And Sting in typical man of few words fashion is just owns this moment. And Triple H is all acting like just just join me, kind of like join the dark side, join me, I'll make you more popular than ever, but if you don't, I will destroy you, I will erase you from the history, and it'll be like you never even existed. And then of course he's like, I know, I can see just by the look in your eyes that what you're deciding to do. And then he goes in and beats the shit out of Sting. Tackles him, beats him on the head, then goes to get the sledgehammer. And then Sting then shows up with the bat. And I was like, yes! Yes! Shows up with I was totally marking out at that moment. Because Sting is my favorite wrestler. And probably number two would probably be the Undertaker. And so he's got the bat, got it right up against Triple H, his neck, and then he points at WrestleMania, the WrestleMania sign, and it was just epic. And then Triple H tries to get him again, and then he puts the bat right up against his neck again, and then he points at WrestleMania, and then of course Triple H says, "I want a match at WrestleMania. I'll give you a match at WrestleMania. I'm gonna destroy you. I'm gonna kick your ass, Sting." You know, and I'm actually looking forward to that match. I am. I really am. But Sting, man, he owned that face to face, and he didn't even have to say anything. Triple H was all bluster, huff and puff, and Sting didn't say a single word. He let his actions speak for themselves. Back to the throat. Don't fuck with me. I'm Sting. And then when Triple H tries to go after him again, he gives him the Scorpion Death Drop, and then walks off with the bat. And I was just like, yeah, Sting is a badass. Anyway, I love Sting. And I was totally surprised I heard rumors that he would not be able to use the bat because of, the PG era and whatever. But I'm so glad he was able to bring it out. And it was definitely a good surprise because I wasn't expecting that. And yeah, putting the bat up against Triple H, making him drop the sledgehammer was a great moment. And then Death dropping his ass into the canvas. Yeah, Triple H Sting at WrestleMania. I'm looking forward to that match. So that was one part of this pay-per-view I loved. I have to admit, I loved that. I loved the face-to-face. I really did. And then we had the Divas Championship match between Nikki Bella and Paige. Excuse me, I just had to clear my throat, clear my nose because of, because I was just ready to talk about this shitty match. So, yeah, ideally just like to blow the snot out of my fucking nose that is this fucking match. Yeah, because it's snot. It's fucking slimy ass fucking yellow snot. This match sucked, mainly because a lot of Diva matches are not really the best things ever, but Paige was getting a serious push, and I really like Paige. I've really warmed up to her, and for her to lose the way that she did was just cheap. And I understand that's what they're doing. They're building up to WrestleMania, so then she'll win at WrestleMania, and then she'll win the Divas Championship at the best at the at the main pay-per-view of the year. But at the same time, I would have rather her won tonight and then defended it, and then made it so the Divas couldn't win it again for a while, rather than just win it at WrestleMania. Because I mean the Divas would be really the Bella Twins. Well, they technically are the Divas of the Divas fucking show, Total Divas, that I don't fucking watch. Uh, yeah, Nikki Bella wins because she grabs Paige's tights. The ref isn't looking, and she gets an illegal pinfall, and then goes loser. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're good. You're good heels, I guess. But I've had enough of the Bella era. It's time to put an end to it. And the fans have been clamoring for Paige to be the Divas champion for a while, and the WWE pretty much just said, "Fuck you. Here's some more fucking Nikki Bella antics," and the Bella twins are on top again. And maybe they thought we couldn't have more than one title change for some reason tonight. We're like, we can't have the tag team titles change and then the Diva titles change at the same night. Why not? There's been a lot of pay-per-views where there's been multiple title changes. It's a shitty excuse. It was a shitty match and it ended shittily. Because Paige is a better wrestler than Nikki Bella. And to be honest, Paige should be the champion. Because she's a better wrestler. Period. She's better looking. Period. She has a more better personality. Period. She's better. Period. And she should have fucking won. It's not because I'm marking out here. It's because people are tired of the Bellas. Nobody's really cheering them on. And there was a huge missed opportunity. So, and it, once again, they won by cheating, of course. We had to build up that drama. But anyway, that's my thoughts on that match. Then we had Bad News Barrett versus Dean Ambrose. And Bad News Barrett looks like he might have the upper hand, but then Dean Ambrose really starts the lunatic fringe. He starts doing what he does best, being a crazy lunatic and kicking people's asses. He's kicking Bad News Barrett's ass, and then like a bitch, he's running away. He's getting out of the ring, trying to get a count out so he can keep his fucking title. So then Dean Ambrose keeps throwing his ass in back in the ring, but he keeps trying to get out. And then eventually he's hanging on for dear life in the corner of the ring post, and Bad News Barrett's kicking him, and then the ref disqualifies Dean Ambrose. Which I understand this is a script, but this is a shitty script because, for one, the ref should have realized that, I don't know, Dean Ambrose is just trying to make sure that this fucking asshole doesn't cheat and doesn't keep his title by being a bitch and fucking hiding outside the ring because he's a bitch. Like I said, he's bad news. He's a bitch ass Barrett. Not bad news Barrett. It's bitch ass Barrett, and he proved it here in this match. It's bitch ass Barrett. So so Dean Ambrose gets disqualified for trying to make it so he can't fucking get out of the ring because he's holding on to the ropes, which really is a form of cheating because he's holding on to the ropes because he doesn't want to lose his title. And then Dean Ambrose, of course, doesn't take this very lightly and continues to beat the shit out of Dean gets to beat the shit out of himself. Yeah, well, he does that every now and then to psych himself up, but he continues to beat the shit out of bitch ass Barrett, and then gives him the dirty deeds, and then he walks off with his Intercontinental title. So I thought it was kind of badass, but at the same time, it could have been handled better. I would have just preferred Bad News Barrett just to lose. But if it's setting up for a no disqualification match, no holds barred, anything goes match at WrestleMania between Dean Ambrose and Bad News Barrett, I'd be up for that. Just to see Dean Ambrose beat the ever loving shit out of Bad News, and he can't hide. He can't hide. He can't hide. If he gets counted out, he loses the title. So I would like to see that. But anyway, it was entertaining. Even the way that it ended, I wasn't as upset at that over what happened with Nikki Bella and Paige, or the first matchup with the triple tag team and so forth, or the Goldust Stardust match. This was, at least it was satisfying because Dean Ambrose still got the last word and still walked off with the title. Of course, Bad News Barrett said, "Hey, that's my bloody title. It's still mine. What? Get him. It's my title." And then it's like, no, it's not, you bitch ass. You don't deserve the Intercontinental Championship because you're a bitch. Anyway, then you had Bray Wyatt showed up, and Undertaker's music starts up, and his disciples come out with their torches and carry the coffin in, and everyone's going crazy. And I knew it. I knew it wasn't the Undertaker, so I was not shocked. I was not surprised in the slightest. And Bray Wyatt had been doing all these promos trying to call it the Undertaker, so I was like, it's Bray Wyatt. And then what happens? The coffin opens and it's Bray Wyatt, and he calls out the Undertaker. That's pretty much what happened. And hey, that takes some balls to literally just use his entrance music, use his disciples, come out of the fucking coffin, and call out the Undertaker. So this means that Bray Wyatt's gonna face the Undertaker at WrestleMania. If this was not the case, they would not be building this up as much, because they would not have even bothered to do so. So the Undertaker's gonna come back probably for maybe one final match against Bray Wyatt. And I honestly think he should win. Not because it's going to bury Bray. Bray's still going to be huge. It's just a way for The Undertaker to go out on top, which is what the fans want to see, instead of him going out on his back. So he lost his streak. That's cool. And I understand some people are saying, well, that's how WWE works. You go out on your back most of the time. That's not how it should work, to be honest. If you've given everything for this company, we're like, well, you could give one more thing and go out on your back. Why? Why? Why would you have to go out on your back? That's like if you're a Super Bowl, if you're a professional NFL player. That's like if John Elway won one Super Bowl and then he went out on his back in the next Super Bowl back to back and got beat down badly, and then it was like, good for you, John, you went out on your back. No, I mean it's like, that doesn't make any sense to me. That in no other profession does that make any sense. That it would be okay for some legendary athlete or legendary performer to go out on their back. It's like, why? They would rather go out on top, and their fans would rather see them go out on top too. So, the Undertaker deserves that. Shawn Michaels went out on top, technically. Undertaker deserves the same thing. He should beat Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, and then go off into the sunset, I guess. Because I can't really think of any other match unless it's against Sting, but I don't know. I don't know about that. But anyway, it is what it is, but we'll see what happens. But it wasn't as shocking or as surprising of a promo as WWE might have wanted it to be. And people in the commentary team were saying like, "Oh my God, I had chills," and when the music popped. I didn't have chills because I knew it wasn't going to be the Undertaker. Anyway, so after that, you had Rusev versus John Cena, and the match starts out kind of boring, kind of dull, because it's more of a slugfest. Then Cena starts to get the upper hand. Then it goes back and forth, like a pinball, and it's actually pretty entertaining. I was like, okay, all right, Rusev, his high kicks aren't knocking Cena out. Cena doesn't give up. All right, Cena can't seem to get the attitude adjustment on Rusev, but Rusev keeps trying to get the accolade, and Cena gets the STFU on him a bunch of times, but Rusev gets out of it. But it looked like, yeah, both men were putting it all on the line, going out all out, and I honestly, I wanted Cena to win because it was the lesser of evils. Cena's gimmick is stale, but it's not nearly as stale as Rusev's. Rusev's gimmick is staler than old moldy bread. Because his gimmick is just, I am Rusev, the unbeatable Russian. And I'm like, how many times are we going to have the unbeatable big giant wrestler guy storyline? Umonga, we did that already. Okay. I actually thought Umonga was better than Rusev. And he had the same, almost the exact same submission maneuver, if I remember correctly. It was almost identical to what Rusev is doing with the accolade. And it's almost the same storyline too. John Cena can't beat Umonga, and Umonga makes him pass out. I saw this already when Cena was fighting Umonga. Like, what the why? Why are we doing reruns, WWE? Why are we doing reruns? Why are we doing reruns of stale ass characters like the evil Russian? We did that in the 80s, and it made sense with Nikolai Volkov because we're in the Cold War. We're not in the Cold War right now. We're not at war with Russia. Why are the Russians the bad guys in every fucking TV show and almost every movie lately and whatever? Because we can't have the Arabs, I guess, because it's not PC. But at the same time, hey, the Russians are bad guys because it's not bad. It's just about as non-PC, just about as fucking racist in some ways as it would be if you had Arabs as villains. What does it make? Why does it make any fucking difference? And why do we fucking have to have another Russian? Unbeatable, unstoppable, fucking Russian. What is this, the third or fourth time we've had this happen? I'm sick and tired of the stale ass gimmick. I'm not impressed with his victories. I'm not impressed with Rusev. He's a shitty character. Now, as a wrestler, he's got talent. He's a big guy who can move. He's a big guy who can do drop kicks. But that's kind of all he has. He can do drop kicks. He can do a couple kicks. He can do a power bomb. And he can do a submission maneuver. But that's it. He has no personality. His personality sucks. His character sucks. And Lana, you can go back to fucking street walking. Get the fuck out of here. Take your Russian flag with you, and or you can leave it with me, and so I can wipe my ass with it, and then light it on fucking fire, and get it the fuck out of the WWE. Not because I don't respect Russians. I'm fine with the country of Russia. I'm fine with that. But I'm not okay with that being fucking in the WWE again. We don't need US versus Russia again. We had that already in the 80s. We tried to bring that back for a little bit, what, in the early 90s too? Stop it. Enough is enough with this fucking bullshit. With this fucking unstoppable evil Russian fucking storyline. Bury Rusev's ass at WrestleMania. Bring him back with a better gimmick, without Lana, without the Russian flag, without this bullshit, and then we can actually see truly if Rusev can make it in the WWE. Because at this moment, he's a walking, talking, shitty, stale ass gimmick. And he has talent. He does, but it's being wasted with one of the oldest fucking stories in the book. So he wins this match against Cena because Lana comes in the ring and distracts the ref, and then he kicks Cena in the balls, and then kicks him in the head, does the accolade, but it doesn't matter because Cena's already knocked out. And then Cena's knocked out. Rusev wins. Rusev with I'm like, I'm fucking sick of Rusev. Fuck Rusev. Get the fuck out of here. I want to take a shit on Rusev. Fuck off, Rusev. Please. Take Lana with you. Take that Russian flag with you, too. No offense to Russians. If I offended anybody who's from Russia, it's not my intention. I'm just sick of this evil Russian thing being shoved down my throat. U.S. and Russia could be in better terms with each other, but we're not at war like it was in the Soviet Union. We don't need this. This is a backwards way of thinking. I'm not saying BPC, but at the same time, I'm like, we don't need this now. We don't need this again. We don't need USA versus Russia for the 50th goddamn time in sports or wrestling entertainment. And I'm not looking forward to him wrestling in WrestleMania. I don't want to see a Cena Rusev fucking rematch at WrestleMania. I really don't. I really do not. I don't want to see Rusev anymore. I want to see a different character that's not stale as shit. Cena, I used to like him, but that's when his gimmick was kind of new, but now it's old, and he can't turn heel, and he can't do this. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those things like he just can't seem to reinvent himself. At least Hulk Hogan turned heel for a while, and then came back and brought back Hulkamania. And but I honestly I never thought Hulk Hogan would pull off being a heel either, but he did it. So who knows? Maybe Cena could. I don't think he could though. I don't think he could do what Hulk Hogan did with Hollywood Hulk Hogan and so forth. So this kind of shit with Rusev coming back and whatever, Rusev winning, and it's just like I didn't want him to win. I'm sick and fucking tired of Rusev already. Just shoving him down my throat, and I didn't ask for Rusev in the first place. I didn't ask for Rusev's dick in my face. So I'm not going to suck his cock. I'm not. So it's not like I'm gonna suck Cena's dick either, but at the same time, him winning the United States Championship is better than Rusev holding it, because I have to see every goddamn week on Raw hear his bullshit and Lana, oh, the Rusev, the ultimate athlete. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I hope Dolph Lundgren shows up one night in Raw and just knocks the fuck out of Rusev and shows them who the real Russian super athlete is, and that is Ivan Drago, and he breaks Rusev. But anyway, yeah, it's just Ivan Drago in a wrestling ring. And if I want to see Ivan Drago, I'm just going to watch Rocky 4. If I want to see a hot blonde Russian, I'm just going to watch Rocky 4. But anyway, that's just my opinion on that match. It was a shitty ending. Rusev wins again. I understand they're trying to build a heel, but he's a shitty heel because he's a shitty character. Then you have the main event, Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. That was a great match. I give that match thumbs up. I give that match I'd say that's the best match I've seen so far. It topped the triple threat match from Royal Rumble, and I thought that wouldn't happen. That was a really good match, but this was better. Really, really good. Daniel Bryan starts out trying to play little mind games with Roman Reigns, trying to run away from him a little bit, trying to be kind of weird with the way that he's trying to initiate contact. It just goes back and forth, back and forth. It looks like Daniel Bryan's got the upper hand, but then Roman Reigns keeps coming back, and Daniel Bryan gets the running knee, but Roman Reigns gets out of it. The first one to ever do that, and Roman Reigns gets Daniel Bryan with a Superman punch, but then Daniel Bryan gets out of that, and they're all in disbelief and so forth. And these men just put everything on the line for a hell of a fucking match. They brawled outside the ring for a little bit. You had Flying Bryan, the Flying Goat, knocking Roman Reigns out a little bit. Roman Reigns delivered his own punishment. I love it when he power out of the submission move and just beat the shit out of Daniel Bryan. I have to admit that was really fun. That was cool to watch. I like Daniel Bryan. I like Roman Reigns. But after this match, I have to admit I'm glad Roman won, because the last thing Daniel Bryan fans want is for Daniel Bryan to become stale. For Daniel Bryan to become like John Cena, the guy who always wins, the guy who never loses, and then you get tired of him real quickly. In order for a character to remain current, to remain unique, for a character, your favorite wrestler, to still remain, I don't know, interesting, as for him to actually not win all the damn time. At least that's how I feel. Yeah, you can mark out for Daniel Bryan. I love that. I like Daniel Bryan. I enjoy his wrestling. But he doesn't need to win all the time. He doesn't need to headline WrestleMania all the time. I understand Hulk Hogan did that. I understand that, but that was in the early years of wrestling pay-per-views. He was the highest top guy at that time. But I respect trying something new. I wanted to see something new. I didn't want to see the same old, same old. But at the same time, I would have been okay with that. See, that's the thing. Whoever won this match, I would have been okay with either way. So it was never one of those moments where, oh, I'm super glad that Roman Reigns won. I'm glad Daniel Bryan's lost because he's overrated. No, I I like Daniel Bryan. If he would have won, I would have been going, yes, yes, yes. But when Roman Reigns speared him at the end and got the pin, I was going, yes, 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 too, because I can see Roman Reigns' potential, and I can see the potential for him and Brock Lesnar having a hell of a great match at WrestleMania, because I think that those two match up better than Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar. Daniel Bryan can only do so much physically. Roman Reigns can do more, and but Daniel Bryan could probably had a hell of a match with Brock Lesnar too. So either way, we win. I think it's not like the WWE Universe lost because Roman Reigns won. And part of me is also glad that Roman Reigns won too, because of this fucking jackass in the front row. What was it, fucking Joe somebody? His fucking first name was Joe. Or this guy's dressed up in the Cena Fruity Pebbles sky blue T-shirt, and he's got a backwards hat, and he's fucking holding up a sign that I bid the 20 straight pay-per-views. Check out my Twitter. And this guy was an obnoxious asshole throughout the entire pay-per-view. He's up there in the front row whenever things aren't going his way and going, boo! I'm like, sit the fuck down and shut the fuck up. You're in the front row, douchebag. You're not in the top row. You're not in the middle. Stop being a jackass. And so this guy was being an absolute jackass and a narcissistic fucking asshole, holding up a sign that has his first name on it and shows, I've been to 20 straight pay-per-views. Good for you. Good for you, jackass. Wow. You've been to 20 straight pay-per-views. Do you think I give a shit? You think anybody who's watching the pay-per-view gives a shit? No. Take that sign and shove it up your ass, shit it out in the toilet, and flush it down the fucking drain. And so it ends up where it fucking belongs, in the sewer with all the other useless piles of shit. Why don't you take your ass with your fucking sign too down to the fucking sewer too, and get eaten by the fucking chuds? But seriously, I did the 20 straight pay-per-views. So I was actually glad. I was glad. There was a little part of me who was glad Daniel Bryan lost, because just so that guy can sit down and shut the fuck up. Fans like that suck. Be respectful to people watching the pay-per-view, okay? And don't be a fucking jackass. If you want to go, yes, yes, fine. But don't protest so loudly that you're as loud as the announcers and you're a distraction. Don't be a distraction. Don't be a dick. Don't remember his name. It was Joe something. Maybe some other guys might remember the guy's name or whatever. But God, what a dick. Fucking jackass. But anyway, so finally, Dan Bryan gets speared, and then his ass sits back down with his hands on his head, like, no. Like, good. Cry in your fucking sleep later. You'll cry with your fucking sign, you narcissistic dickbag. I'm in the 20 straight pay-per-views. Anyway, a good match. I liked it. It was a lot of good back and forth. Both men gave everything. It was exciting. It was thrilling. It was worth the hype. Yeah, one of the best match I've seen this year so far. So awesome. Kudos. Great match. Now, what are my thoughts on the pay-per-view itself? Above average. It wasn't great, because you had Goldust and Stardust, which was a shitty, forgettable match. You had Paige versus Nikki, lame ending. You had the triple threat, whatever, not really triple threat, but triple tag team match in the beginning. Barely only saved because of Randy Orton RKOing people. But other than that, it had a shitty ending. It was deja vu of Royal Rumble. Yeah, the last thing fans wanted to see was the Big Show knocking out Dolph Ziggler again. We really wanted to see that again for the second straight pay-per-view. Cesaro, Tyson Kidd versus defeats the Usos. Good match. Had a different ending, which is nice. Sting, face-to-face Triple H, awesome. Bad News Barrett, Dean Ambrose, entertaining, but at the same time, I wish Dean Ambrose just won the title outright. And Dean Ambrose wasn't such a bitch ass. But, you know, if it leads to a no disqualification match at WrestleMania between those two, I'd be okay with it. Bray Wyatt, surprise. That wasn't so surprising. Not like Bray Wyatt did a bad job with the promo, it just wasn't nearly as shocking as WWE wanted it to be. Rusev versus Cena was one of the best matches of the night until they fucked it up, until they made it so Rusev is still gonna have the title and carry his boring, stale-ass fucking gimmick to Raw again and again until WrestleMania. And I don't know for who knows how long, but please, God, bury his ass and get him to come back with a better gimmick. Without Lana, without the Russian flag, without the fucking speaking Russian, without acting like I'm the most unstoppable, unbeatable, I am Rusev, the super athlete. You're a super fucking piece of shit. Get the fuck out of here. Your gimmick's super stale and fuck off. If you like Rusev, that's fine. I'm sick and tired of fucking Rusev. I really am. Then Roman Reigns is Daniel Bryan. Great match. Glad. Either way, like I said, either way, whoever won, I would have been okay with, but I'm glad Roman Reigns won because this is a huge moment in his career, and this is a moment that hopefully, this is his defining match. This was his defining match in his career. And he needs to work on his mic skills, but Daniel Bryan isn't the best in the world either, and kind of one note, and The Rock didn't start out as amazing as he turned out to be, so I'm going to give him a chance, some more practice. But in the ring, you know, he's getting there. He's getting there. He's definitely got power. He showed that against Daniel Bryan multiple times, powering out of submission moves and pummeling Daniel Bryan in the face, which I have to admit, even though I like Daniel Bryan, I still like seeing that because that's unexpected. Gets out of the submission maneuver by brute force and just punching him in the face. That's a good way to get out of a submission maneuver. And he delivers a good spear. He really does. It's one of the better spears I've seen since Edge. But anyway, I really don't know what else to say about Fastlane, except I thought it was an above average, entertaining pay-per-view, but at the same time, I would say, at best, it was as good as the best Raws I've seen lately. And that's kind of disappointing, because this is a pay-per-view. So it's kind of disappointing to say that, well, pretty much I just watched another Raw, and I'm going to watch Raw, you know, today, or tonight later, or tomorrow, or whatever. It's like more of the same. Pay-per-views are supposed to stand out from the weekly shows, not be pretty much the same. But anyway, it is what it is. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed watching my thoughts and my review of Fastlane. I think I might talk about last week's SmackDown when I talk about Raw this week. Just do a little bit of recap and my thoughts and so forth. I said a little bit of what I thought this week, so I mean on this video. So, but anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and stay tuned for later for more Talking WWE, and I will see you guys later. See ya.